What's up, everybody? I'm back with another episode of the Keep Going podcast. Today's guest is Dirk Mathews. He's a real estate agent here in Oklahoma City. He's a veteran, a dad, a husband, just an all-around great human being. I feel like I've known him for years, but I officially got to meet him and sit down and discuss not only real estate, but an amazing motorcycle trip with his father, the importance of his wife and children to him and his legacy, and just what keeps him going. He's an intricate human being, passionate, never settles, and just always pushes for more. I'm really excited we got to sit down, learn a little bit about each other, and just have a good conversation. I hope you all enjoy this episode. As always, keep going. Well, man, Dirk, thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
We were talking a little bit off camera about like you staying consistent as far as allowing me to schedule it out. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for bringing me on. I've been looking forward to it.
And I'm happy we both rode today.
Yes.
I knew we would, but I just wasn't 100%, I guess.
Random 80-degree day in November.
You got to take it. You got to take it. That's kind of where I wanted to start just because I'm so curious.
Yeah.
How long have you been riding motorcycles?
I would say that started when I got back from Iraq in 2010.
Okay.
And it was one of those I always wanted a bike. Mm-hmm. And mom was like, nah. Mom was always scared of them.
Was she a biker?
No. Mom was always kind of scared of them. She rode a little bit later on. But it was one of those where mom was pretty afraid of motorcycles. Dad had one when he was younger. Okay. I got to ride on the back of it when I was like little. And I loved it. I was kind of hooked on it. But it was way after I got back from Iraq, I was like, that's what I'm getting a motorcycle. I got that and an old pickup. And
cool.
So it was 2010 is when I started riding, but I've been riding mountain bike and stuff like that my whole life. So it was kind of a good transition into it.
Nice. Yeah. And what kind of bike did you start with?
I had a 2001 V-Star, Yamaha V-Star, but I had 18-inch ape hangers on it. So like I learned how to ride with like my hands like all the way up here. It was ridiculous. But it was like, the cool bobber look. And I was like, had the little metal seat pan with the leather strip over it. It was the most uncomfortable bike, but I loved it. And it was like, the hook was sank, I was like into it.
What, just from your perspective, what is it that like sinks the hook? Because there is something so freeing about it, even though I've done a lot of stuff, but It's just different. For me, it's like it's a total freedom. It's that feeling of like riding a horse when I was younger. Like grew up like my granddad broke horses. My dad rode in the Pony Express reenactments. Like, So all this, I was around horses a lot when I was a kid, and it felt like that, but I could go way faster. And then you're in the actual environment you're riding through. So like if you're in a car, you don't get the smells, you don't get the temperature changes when you go down in the valleys. Like all of that was like, oh, this is a whole different game. And I mean, I love it, every aspect of it. Yeah, I think the environment is the biggest thing because I took a woman who I had interviewed. This is all connecting, but I went to a horse ranch in Texas.
Oh, nice.
And because I wanted to learn about them, and she hadn't rode a motorcycle in forever, so she rode with me, and she brought that up. She's like, I just was so close to the environment.
Yes.
And that's what gets me too, like the smells, the feels, and just that, I don't know, today when I was riding over, it was just a lot of clarity on the way over here too. Could have easily drove, but I was like, nah.
It's almost like a meditative state because you have to pay so much attention to what you're doing that you can't be like daydreaming about stuff. But it really, that's where if I really need to think about process something, I'll go on a long ride. And then by the time I come back, I'll have some sort of clarity on what I need to do. Yeah. That's what I love about it. It's just, I call it helmet time. And it's like, I just need to be with my thoughts for a bit.
Yeah. But it's nice how it'll zone you in, but you're so right about it. Like there is actually a lot going on, but 100%. You do feel really chill. Yeah.
And it's a full body thing too. I mean, it's how you lean your leg. If you pull your knee out a little bit, it shifts the bike. Like every little thing about it is like, if you're driving a car, I mean, you can do it with kind of a foot and a hand, but if you're riding a bike, you've got your whole body in the game and you're in the environment. You got to look for holes, animals. I mean, other riders, drivers on their phones, like it's a full consciousness thing. And I love that aspect of it. It's almost like Buddhism. And
I'm glad you've been riding so long. 15 years is a good amount of time.
I love it.
It's funny when you brought up your mom because my mom was the same way. She was like, no bikes at all. Yeah. But she was a biker. So she had rode since she was 3 years old.
She just didn't want her babies on them.
Which is wild to me because she still rides today. And I'm just like, that is so crazy. But then the look on her face because my wife just woke up a random day and was like, I want a bike. And I was like, okay. So we went and got the bike for her. She bought her own bike. And then I was like, well, damn, if you're buying a bike, I want to buy a bike.
Yes.
So I went and got one and got lucky. It's that same one you saw today, that Sportster.
Yeah, that's a beautiful bike.
Thank you. I've put 23,000 miles on it.
Good for you.
So a lot of helmet time. But when I got it, my mom's just so happy.
Yeah.
Like she was taking pictures of me and my stepdad doing the oil change and stuff. And I'm like, this is funny. Like, I guess I'm happy that she said no for so long. Because then if I would have done it at 18, 21, 24, maybe, I just don't know if it would have been the same. But not getting it till I'll be 33 this month. I was like 28.
Oh, nice.
So I felt like I knew I had a high level of smart fear.
Yes.
Where I was like, no, shit can go wrong.
Yes. You had already come to terms with like your mortality and like had some adult brain going on. Because I know if I got one when I was a teenager, I probably wouldn't be here. Like,
no, because I went fast on other stuff. Like, man, my first car was a 93 Toyota Celica, and we bought it for maybe $1,200 or $2,000. So just like an old little tuner. I drove that like it was a Ferrari. Oh yeah. So imagine getting something nice. Like,
feel like I got to see what this can do.
When did you take your first motorcycle trip?
For the most part, I've just kind of done little camping trips and stuff like that around here. The one I did with my dad is the first time I've gone like multi-day.
And that's recent?
That was recent,
okay.
Yes. And that was one where I wanted to do that with my dad. You know, it was a big, important thing. So when he trailered his bike down here, and then we rode out from here to Arkansas together.
Where at in Arkansas?
We did that I-40, and then we did the pig trail up to Eureka Springs, and we stayed at the Crescent. Okay. And we did these big clover leaves out of Eureka Springs to do all these different like little highways and stuff.
Is that northwest? Or is it north? Or where is Eureka?
Eureka's kind of that northeast.
Even further.
Yeah. I guess I would say I have done motorcycle trips before, but not like riding out to them. Yeah. We've trailered bikes out to Arkansas a lot with my Emily and her family. Her dad's like their whole family rides like crazy. He used to do like an adventure riding magazine here. So I know like all the good spots out there. He showed me all the cool places.
Yeah, Arkansas is beautiful for that.
It's wonderful. The riding out there is gorgeous. There's one like the Buffalo River Valley. We were riding out there with him, and we had to stop on the road because a herd of elk was crossing. And it was just one of those where like everyone just kind of turned their bikes off and just sat there for a minute. It was like, well, this is special.
Yeah, pure peace.
Yes. And it was probably 30 elk. And it was beautiful. It was like forever rent free in my head. That's where like...
And you're right there. Like when we were talking about environment.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Nothing. Nothing between you and it. We just did a day trip with the kids down to the Wichita Wildlife Refuge.
I saw that.
And there was the buffalo herd was right there by the visitors center and just hanging out. And it was one of those of like, I had my kids on the back, you know, and they're brave little kids. So it didn't really scare them. They were like, cool, buffalo. And in my head, I'm like, we got to be really careful here because we're on bikes.
Yeah. I was going to bring that up. I ride out there quite a bit.
Yeah.
And one time I was coming back from when you're going through and you can go out that back exit.
Yes.
I was coming that way back into it. And there was probably 50 longhorns, and it took about 15 minutes. Yeah. And I was just looking at them, and they were far enough away that like I could just turn my bike off. But I was like, if they just turn around and like charge me, I'm just gonna have to dump the bike.
Yeah,
like,
dump and run.
Like it's crazy. I rode out there one time, 5 a.m. and watched the sunrise. And that was pretty crazy. You almost don't even believe you're in Oklahoma when you see it.
That's a whole different landscape. Like the Sharon, I've seen you post a video of you playing at Sharon's Garden area. That's like my old favorite hiking area. I love it because the boulder fields, it's like you're on Mars. Like,
it's just a totally different place.
Yeah, it's not Oklahoma.
With your dad, that was your dad.
Yeah.
Did you plan it? Did he plan it? What was the game plan?
I planned most of that one. That was, we like to shoot a little from the hip of going, we have kind of bullet points we want to hit, but for the most part, that was me. Dad was like, you plan it, I'll come down and we'll ride. So we kind of picked where we wanted to stay and then did big loops. And I told him, I was like, we can do this, this, and this. And it was my father-in-law had showed me Peel's Ferry, which is off the Bull Shoals Lake. And it's the only place I know of where you can ride your motorcycle onto a ferry and it puts you across the lake. And I was like, it's way out of the way, but what other place can you ride your motorcycle onto a lake? Like, it's pretty,
you gotta do that.
But it's kind of middle of nowhere. There's nothing there but a ferry. And it's kind of neat. So I marked that down. I asked my dad. He was like, yes, that's an experience I want to do. So we did stuff like that. we stayed in Bentonville on the way back.
Yep.
Took him to Onyx Coffee, and he was like, "That's the best coffee I've ever had in
the
my
world,
life."
man.
Yeah,
it's crazy too because I stumbled into that place.
Same.
Like I got so lucky. We were hiking like Missouri, Arkansas, and we went and floated that Buffalo River.
Yep.
And I looked up a coffee shop, and we had an hour to kill, and it was an hour away.
Yeah.
So we drove, and then I was like I'm an espresso guy. I do a lot with coffee, and that was my first experience running into that. I got so lucky.
And it's
special.
It's like a whole new game.
No, it's another level.
Yes, and it's one of those ones like every other coffee since has been like, this needs more melted butter and salt in it.
No, the Onyx changed like what I look for in coffee, and that's why you can find good roasters here if you like know where to look and things. And
the Harvey has Onyx coffee. That's what they serve.
It does.
I love it.
So does Peretz.
Okay.
Have you been to Peretz?
That's a new one for me.
Man, you should take your wife and kids. It's a coffee shop, but it's only open from 3 or 4 p.m. to 11. So it's only a night coffee shop.
Okay.
And they do affogatos and matcha.
Is that down in the Film Row area?
Yep.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
You all should ride there one day when it's nice and try it.
That would be cool.
Do like a decaf affogato or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But how long was the trip with your dad? Like, was it a week, 2 weeks?
About a week. It was about a week total.
That's a good amount of time on a bike.
It is. And we put in a little over 1,000 miles, so it was fun. And we've got the intercom system.
Yeah.
So like we were just chatting the whole time. It was awesome. Like we hadn't gotten to spend. My mom passed away the summer prior to that, so we hadn't gotten much time together since then outside of like together in the same place. So being able to like ride bikes all day and still chat, like a whole different game changer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I asked him, I was like, "Do you want to share music? Because with the thing you can like split." He goes, "I don't want to listen to your music." And I was like, "Well, I don't want to listen to yours either." So fair.
But it's nice that you can just patch in and talk.
Yeah. And it was awesome.
Because you're seeing so much, and then, like you said, you're in that meditative state.
Yep.
So you're almost like having a higher level of conversation with the other person.
100%. And it's great being able to just spend that time together while doing something. I mean, beautiful landscape. You can't beat the Ozarks for landscape. It's every little hill, just scenery forever.
Yeah, and winding and hills and mountains. It's almost fake.
And we did like switchbacks. There's the highway, what is that, 123, south of Mount Judy. And it's like, hardcore switchbacks back and forth. And it was so much fun being able to like talk to each other while we're whipping them back and forth.
It's so engaging.
It is.
I bet that took a lot of focus.
Yes.
What was it like being with, have you spent a lot of time with your dad like that? Or is that like a bucket list moment where you got the longest time of having those type of conversations? Or
we've done a lot of like hunting trips together and stuff like that in the past.
I've realized that you get a lot of talking time in those moments.
100%. Even when it's quiet, like you're spending time together, but the rest of the like back at camp, at the all of it, you're spending a lot of time talking. I just did a hunting trip with my father-in-law and my son this last weekend, and like getting to talk to my father-in-law, getting to show my son how to pheasant hunt. Like these are things that I'm like passing the torch. And it was cool to see like 3 generations. And like it was my son's first hunting trip. So it was one of those of like, I didn't know if the spark was going to take or not. I mean, he was like a sponge. He asked every question. Sometimes I was like, stop asking questions. We're hunting now.
Yeah.
But he was stoked. And I was like, man, that's like lights a fire in you, and you're like, yeah, I do want to share all this with you. I passed down the knife my dad gave me when I first started hunting. I just passed down to my son.
How old is he?
He's 12 now. So he's very excited. He wants to hunt everything now. He brought like pheasant wings and stuff home to show mom. Like he's fired up.
That's awesome. Man, that's cool. And I connect with you so much on that because me and my dad started hunting maybe 5 years ago.
Nice.
He had hunted a little bit throughout, but he was always too busy like working, building his career. He never really spent time doing it.
Yeah.
But about 5 years ago, we started doing it, and man, those times in the truck driving to the lease or driving to the land or whatever it is, it's crazy. I think that like that's the only reason he probably even felt good enough to do the podcast.
Yeah.
As I was like, hey, we've basically done like 48 hours total of recording anyway.
We've been riffing already.
Yeah.
We know how to do it. Yeah.
Because I don't know what it was, and maybe you've experienced it, but I feel like you hit a point, I guess when you think you're a man as well, it's where you just ask what's on your mind
100%.
Instead of like maybe just not wanting to know.
It's less instructional and it's more of like, hey, what was your experience with this? Because I'm trying to understand it as a man now.
Yeah. I'm not trying to understand it as like how it made me feel.
100%.
Yeah.
Or it's like when I was a young man, my dad was educating me on stuff, and it was like there were rules around it and stuff. And I remember there was almost a switch, and it was when my dad picked me up from basic training and drove me to advanced individual training. And I think that was the first time that I noticed my dad viewed me as a man. And I was like, something has changed. Or the way we spoke to each other was a little different. And since then, it's like we're like best buds.
Yeah.
Like it's one of my best friends is my dad. I can talk to him about anything. And he's like an old Wyoming cowboy. So he's very much like old stoic wisdom, you know, and like I love it so much. He'll be blunt, and I'm like, okay, all right, that's exactly what I needed to hear. Or he'll be like, no, like he has a soft side to it too. So I'm like, he's very well read. So I know that if I come to him, he'll give me good advice, and it's from the heart. Like he never puts on airs for anybody. Right. And I'm like, that's what I love the most. And I know no matter what I need to talk about, he'll listen to it and then give me his feedback.
Yeah, it's an interesting progression because I always felt like my dad was my best friend. Mm-hmm. But then when you hit like your manhood, I don't know how to explain it, your man level, whatever, it just felt different. Like I was like, no, like I really like you. Like it sounds weird to say, but you're like, no, Dad, like, yeah, we're really good friends. Yeah. And then the conversations are not only deeper, but then it's like just funny times too. It's not always like so deep, but it's like I just enjoy sitting here with you. Yeah, 100%. And then you realize like how similar you all are and things like that. So it's an interesting thing. As you get even further aging, like you'll look in the mirror and be like, I look like my dad. Like it's crazy. I tell my wife that all the time. Like every day I look a little bit more like my dad. It's the wildest thing. But what'd your dad think of the trip? Did he open up and tell you like how much it meant to him, or did he keep it stoic?
He had a great time. He told me, he's like, that meant a lot. And I was like, yeah, me too. We're already planning. He's like, next summer you guys trailer the bikes up here and we'll go ride through the Black Hills, through like Mount Rushmore and all that. I'm like, yes. Which we went through all that growing up. Like I grew up in Wyoming, so we went to South Dakota a lot. And like the Black Hills are like our stomping grounds. I love that area, so I want to go ride it. I've never ridden motorcycle.
And in the summer, the weather will be perfect. Like perfect. Yes. Can't get any better.
When Emily and I first started dating before we got married, I realized that I had never taken her to Wyoming in the summertime. She'd always gone up for Thanksgiving or Christmas.
Where it's terrible.
Yes.
I'm sure.
It's just
I've never been up there during
cold.
That time.
It's so cold. And I'm like, oh, we need to do a summer trip because that's when you fall in love with the state. Like the whole state's such a beautiful, beautiful place. Winter's pretty, but it's like pretty through the window. Yeah. Like you don't want to be out in it. It's so cold. But yeah, so she saw it in the summer. I was like, oh yeah, I get it.
Man, I love to hear that about that trip though, because that's I was keeping up with you on it through social media. And
yeah, I think I actually read your message to come on here when I was on Peel's Ferry.
Oh.
And I was like, that's awesome. And I showed my dad. And I was like, I think I'm going to go on a podcast. And he was like, that's really cool.
It's interesting how it's meant to be those moments, you know, because you could check it whenever, but it's like when you're able to receive it or when like I feel the need to ask. Yeah. It just was like, no, he's doing cool shit with his dad. Like I'd love to talk about that because I'm sure a lot of people understand it, but you know, I always say the conversations on the pod are great because like we're so engaged. Yeah. And that's something I can relate to so much because it's been new to me. Yeah. Like, especially just interviewing him not too long ago and being like, man, like, I know it's different for them to even spend that time with you. Like, we're talking from our side. Yes. But I wonder what they think because they saw you when you're a 100% baby. So. Yes. And like he had, you know, you think of it like they have their own independent life. They have friends. They have all this, you know, this whole other life that they lived even before you existed. And then you're part of their story too. I love that. My kids say that a lot. Like, well, that's part of your story. It's part of our story. And I'm like, they put the two and two together. And like, there's sometimes they have like very mature, sage advice on things. And I'm like, cool. Like, that was very cool to watch, you know, and be like, but it's the same thing. I think of it with my dad. I'm like, wonder what he's doing right now. And he'll tell me about what his friends are doing and like the projects they're building at the cabins and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm glad that I get to be part of that, of his story too. And what about with your wife, since she rides as well, right? Yes. What have those journeys been like?
That's been my favorite.
It's cool as fuck.
I love that she'll ride on the back with me and like that, but she's very much a capable rider all on her own. Because James Pratt and Kay Pratt, my in-laws, taught her how to ride from a young age. and they ride dirt bikes and trail riding and all of that. So we've gotten to do these really cool adventure rides together. And it's like, she's my perfect match. I'm her biggest fan. I love that girl so much. She's very adventurous. And it's like you were saying about your wife wanting to buy the motorcycle. My wife's the one who will always jump in first. Yep. She's wants to, we were in Costa Rica and she wanted to do this Tarzan swing where you walk on a catwalk and it swings you out over a valley. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, I don't want to do that. And then my wife just goes and does it. I'm like, well, I don't want to be the guy whose wife did it. And then my wife did it and I didn't. So she makes me kind of jump and do, you know, kind of off the wall stuff.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
I love that so much about her. She is a great rider, phenomenal rider. We did that trip with the kids and we decided to ride up Mount Scott. And I mean, the wind that day was pegged. It was all the way. And I was like, hey, are you sure you want to do it with the kid on the back? And she rode a bike. She rode a 650 BMW all the way up there to the top, parked it with a kid on the back. And I mean, she's on her tiptoes, making sure she can do it. And she nailed it. And I was like, I texted her dad when we got to the top. I was like, you'd be so proud. Because like, she's just capable. I mean, she's the person you would want in your foxhole with you.
Yeah.
Like, she's fearless. She's done so much. I mean, that's why I love her so much. I'm a huge fan of that girl.
Well, it's interesting too. Like, we're talking about being best friends with your dad, which is awesome. That best friend with your significant other, that's something that was new to me as well. I've been with my wife now for 8 years.
Strong work.
And like, that's the only reason that we're together.
100%.
It's like, no, we just happen. Like, I don't know how to explain. Well, you get it, so I don't have to explain it. It's like, no, we just have fun.
Yes.
And we do hard shit together.
We enjoy life.
Yeah.
We always talk about it as like squeezing. It's like if you make an orange juice, you try to squeeze every last drop out of it. Like, that's life too. Like, I want all of it, man. I want to experience everything. It's a big world. And like, the fact that my favorite person on the planet loves doing all of this kind of super adventurous, like, I don't feel like we're probably well-adjusted people, but we have lived a lot of life, you know? And I'm like, I don't care if other people get it. I don't care. That's my person. And like, we've done some really, really cool stuff together that I wouldn't have experienced had I never met her or we had this relationship together. And the fact that like, we work in the same office every day, we run a team together, we go home, we raise our kids together. Like, tomorrow morning, we're going to Ho Chi Town to like plan out our goals for the next year. And like, it's that intentionality we talked about. Like, if we don't sit down and go, hey, we want to do this, and this together. And we even are like, when are we going on a date? When are we doing this? When are we doing that? And making sure that we're connecting. Because like, do you have kids yet?
No.
If you like, the kids add a whole new level of it, of like, it's easy to get wrapped up in, you know, choir and then soccer and then this. And then you go, we haven't been on a date in like 2 months. It's crazy, especially running a business and our type of work. Our type of work, we're always going. Like, she's out showing now. Earlier today, I was in Guthrie. Like, we're ships in the night a lot of the time, but like, we're building something huge together. And that's why I love it. Is like, we're building something that will feed our children someday. And that's like, it gets us so excited about it. Like, the legacy of it. I don't know. She's a force to be reckoned with. And that's why I'm always her biggest fan.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to sing her praises, but like, she's very intelligent, she's very adventurous, and fearless, and that's what I love about her.
No, I resonate with that a lot, because I feel like my wife pushes the boundaries as well. And then I realize like, things I'm capable of, but I don't know if sometimes it's always fear, or if it's like, you know how sometimes they say like, guys are too logical. Like, maybe I'm overthinking it.
Yeah, I overthink too.
And then I'm just like, oh, or just do it. And of course, there's strengths and weaknesses of both of us, but that has definitely been something that's progressed us. Is like, man, I wouldn't have tried some of this stuff if she wasn't around.
Right.
And then she wouldn't have had the support to go all the way into what it was if, you know, you weren't on board as well. So
we balance each other out so well. Like, all of my weaknesses are her strengths. And it's like, I mean, you see that from like business leaders back in the past. They would be like, this is my weakness. I need to find a partner that does this. And we just kind of do that organically as a couple. So even in our parenting style, like, she'll be like, hey, like, I was a sergeant in the Army, so sometimes I like the knife handle will come out, and I'm like, she's like, you got to be softer with the kids. I'm like, okay. And she'll make me softer. And then there's times where I'll balance her out. And I'm like, hey, this isn't as big of a deal as we think it is. You know, let's talk to him this way. We balance each other out so well. And it's benefited our relationship, our business, our marriage. Like everything we touch is better because both of us are working it together. If we did these things separately, I don't know if we would be as successful.
Yeah.
But she is definitely like our driving force. She's the hard charger, and I'm the overthinker in the back, like planning out contingencies.
Yeah.
And then she's like, dude, just go. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. Like,
Yeah, my first motorcycle trip ever, now that you're talking about that, I was in a rut where just how we can get in this business.
Yeah.
It's so busy and things out of your control can happen. But she was like, hey, you're just like off. You need to go. You've been talking about going to Polidoro because I'm Comanche and Wichita's and Polidoro. That's all Comanche stuff.
It's a beautiful country too.
Yes, it is. And I went like the back highway, so it was all cattle.
Yes.
But she was like, hey, you just need to go. You've been talking and you just haven't gone, so just go. And I would have never like made the 3 days or 2 days of what it was just to have some time with myself. And now I've learned to do those things on my own, but she's still there every once in a while to be like, hey, it's been a little bit. Why don't you go camp at the Wichita's, even if it's just a night, and then just come home tomorrow?
It doesn't always have to be a big production. Sometimes it's like, I've done that where I've gone in like one night at Arcadia just to check out.
I did that as well.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, one night around a campfire does a lot.
Man, and Arcadia is nice. I did it once or twice by myself, and then once or twice with her. Yeah. And it's close.
Same with Romano's is another one.
Yep.
Within an hour and a half, you're at Romano's, and like, it's the same thing, man. Like
Romano's is nice too. It's a little less crowded as well.
Yeah, Arcadia. There's certain nights of the week where it's like, this was a mistake.
It's like, oh, I didn't know this was like a party.
Yeah, exactly. It's a party cove, and I didn't know it.
Yeah, it's like I picked the wrong one. That's when you know you're like aging. You're like, fuck.
Yeah, you'd be like, dude,
I wanted dead silence.
Yeah.
As far as the real estate business, did you all start together? And your wife's Emily, right?
Emily, yes.
Okay.
So she started first. Her mom is Kay Pratt, and she does real estate up in Edmond a lot. She's with Remax.
Okay.
So we kind of learned a lot from her. Emily started, I was doing oil and gas work out in Ohio, and Emily moved out there with me, and we worked ourselves out of a job because I was oil and gas. It was all boom and bust. So we kind of came back, and we didn't have a place to live because I'd moved out of my house. You know, she had quit her job at the Gazette, and then we didn't have anywhere to go. And we decided we were going to move in with her folks, and she was going to start real estate. And that way we cut all of our expenses way down. And her parents allowed for us to have that runway which I thank them for that. Like, we wouldn't have been able to do this if we were not allowed that, a little bit of runway. And she started working with her mom and learning from her. And I went back to, actually during that time, I was touring. I was in a band, so I toured all the time.
Oh, what type of like instrument or singing?
I played bass in punk rock bands, so cool. No money whatsoever.
A lot of fun.
A lot of fun though. I got to go do a lot of stuff. But she started that business during that time, and she's one of those people. She doesn't half-ass anything. She's all in or all out, and that's another thing I love about her. So she started creating momentum. She got Rookie of the Year first year with Remax, and just kept hard charging. I came back from touring and I started working turning wrenches again at Beck's over there on Western. That's where I first started learning mechanic work. And I started doing that, and Emily got so busy that she was like, I need to hire an assistant. And I'm the overthinker, so I started running numbers on like salaries and stuff like that. And I was like, that's more than I make as a mechanic. And I was like, I'll just quit my job and I'll come over and learn real estate with her. So at that point, I started doing like back-end administration and TC work for her. And then quickly realized that we could make a pretty good force as a couple doing it. So I got my license and started doing buyers, like showing side.
When was that? How many years ago?
I think that was probably 2016, 2017, around there.
So a good amount of time. Yeah. That's when I started, was around 2017.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, we got in around the same time.
Yeah, because I remember keeping up with you on social media.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, when I met you today, which... And I'm not. This is the first time.
This is the first time we've actually
like. Met. That's why I was like, I feel like I know him.
Same. I followed you through that time as well, but I don't think this is the first time we've actually sat.
That's what I thought.
Across the table.
I also think that with the TC work and the administrative side, you almost learn a side of it that sometimes we don't on the other side
Yes.
when it's just go, because it took me a while to learn the back end stuff. Because when I started, then I was just like, I just want to sell, and then like, okay, I need this signed.
I need this done,
you can
this
kind of, and since you're a systems guy, you can know how to do things once.
Yes.
So that's good for your foundation as well.
Absolutely. And that's the training that into the business and building the systems out that when, like, we have Carol works with us now. Mm-hmm. She's our executive assistant. She also is a showing agent. She is phenomenal at what she does, but we can build systems out that allow her to take over that side of it, allows us to go out and sell more. Mm-hmm. So we started that way. And then...
and it was with Remax when you started too?
It was Remax when we started. And we ended up doing Remax Platinum in downtown Edmond. We did that for a little while and then moved to ERA Courtyard with Jeff Langham and all of them. Mm-hmm. And during that time, we had gone to a class that Peter and Tara Levinson had put on, and it was working with your spouse. And it was pretty soon after I got my license. So we were still pretty fresh to working together. And there was a lot of issues with that, with like the ego side of it. I was like, no, this is the way I think it should be. She thought it was this way. Mm-hmm. Peter and Tara were very good about like, hey, figure out your organization, who does what, and don't step on each other's toes. And they did this whole thing of like how to work successfully with your partner. And that's when I first got to know them. And I started learning a lot from that. And still to this day, learning so much from those two on how to build a successful business with your spouse.
Yeah. I mean, they're the best example of that.
They're great. They're phenomenal.
Because sometimes you see a lot of like husband-wife teams, and it's not I don't want to be an asshole, but it like is a joke.
Yeah.
And then you see some people that do it right, like you and your wife, or like, I don't know why I'm forgetting his last name, Sean Darling and his wife. Mm-hmm. And then you have Peter and them that do it at a very high level, especially with the brokerage ownership.
And both of their daughters and their husbands both work there too. And they're same way, successful. They play off of each other really well.
Which is a nice way to see another side of business, because most of the time it's all about separation.
Yes.
So it's like, no, we can build together like you're doing with yours, and actually enjoy the journey a little more, but, get some more time.
Absolutely.
Did you join them after the class, or was it still later?
It was later on. So we'd been friends with them. Like we'd go out to dinner and like invite them out to dinner, and we'd get to know, because we're like, we want to know you as people and as friends. And because we liked so much of what they had to say during that meeting, that I was like, these are people I want to know.
What was it like taking the initiative to do that? Because a lot of people would maybe feel like they may not want to talk to me, or they may not want to go to dinner. Like you had to put yourself out there.
That was Emily that did that.
Okay.
She's one of those, like, I'm the same way too, in a way, and I'll circle back to that. But Emily was like, I want to learn from Tara. I really have a lot of respect for Tara, how she runs her business. So I'm just going to put it out there. I'm going to ask. The worst they can say is no.
Yeah, you don't know until you ask.
But that's where I've learned. The military taught me that I always want to be the dumbest guy in the room, and because I want to be that means if I'm the smartest guy, I'm in the wrong room. I'm not learning anything. Mm-hmm. So I've learned to be like, I'll ask, if it pops in my head, I'll ask you a question about it. I have no ego, no pride about looking stupid. Mm-hmm. I want to learn. I think being stupid is not asking the question.
Yeah, and just assuming you know, or acting like you know.
Acting like you know, because that's the thing. Is like if you don't know it, you're not going to be successful at it. So might as well ask the question. Anybody that would look at you and be like, well, that was stupid for you to ask that, that's probably not the person you want to learn from.
Anyways, that's not the one. Because anytime you ask a good person something, even if it is simple, they're like, that's great that you asked that, because I had to ask.
Yes.
Like, it's this. But it's easy.
Most of the people I know that are very successful, or they do anything at a high level, want to teach other people. They want to share what they've learned. And that's what I've learned with the Levinsons. That whole organization they train so much. They teach so much. I've been at other brokerages where people kind of hoard their knowledge, and they're like, I don't want to teach you how I do my client stuff, because then you'll be successful in it. For the most part, if you teach something, they're only going to take about 5% of it and implement it. And that's maybe 1% of the class is actually going to implement anything. For the most part, people want to pass on what they know. They want to share their experience. That's why I've been so excited over there. I've learned so much from so many people. Mm-hmm. And it's like Cam Burke, he's such a young guy, but he does an unimaginable amount of business. Mm-hmm. And he has been so free with his knowledge. I'll see him in the hallway just asking me, hey, how did you do this and this with your CPA? And he'll break down his whole business, the umbrella of it. And I'm like, oh, I never would have thought of doing it that way. Everyone there shares. And that's what's been, I think, the biggest thing about that brokerage.
Yeah.
Is the knowledge collectively that is shared in that building. is, I mean, it's mind blowing. I've learned so much about real estate. I always thought I knew a lot about real estate until I got in rooms and I was like, oh, these people know way more than me.
Yeah, and that's another thing where not having the ego is so important in a business like this, because that's a good thing.
Yeah,
you
got to have enough ego to take the risk and be like, I think I can do this if I just figure it out as I go. You have to have enough ego to do that, but not so much ego that it stops you from being curious or asking the questions or taking the risk. Like if you're afraid of looking stupid, you're not going to get very far in business. Like you've got to be willing to fail.
Yeah.
And fail big.
Yeah. And often.
Because like you do investment stuff too, right? That's a big one. Like we just started getting into that. And for me, like taking that risk is scary. Like the money side of it is like terrifying to me on how quickly you can lose money. But it's like, man, it's exciting too, of like, you can accomplish so much just being willing to take more risk than the average person.
Yeah. And sometimes like that more risk is not that huge. No. Like it's just like a little more risk. Like, okay, I can get paid. I'm going to use real easy numbers. Like I can get paid $1,000 right now, or take like 3 months of risk and it'll be 12. And you're like, 100%. Okay, well, I have other stuff working. Let me just try this.
Yes.
And it works out. Even when things, like even worst case, you break even on something or lose a little money, you learned how not to do it the next time.
Yes, 100%.
And you would pay someone to learn that anyway.
Yes, you would. And the financing side of it is interesting to me, because it's always kind of scary. Like, coming up with like, I grew up with not a lot of money.
Yep.
So like when we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars and I'm asking the bank for this on a commercial loan and they're like, yeah, you're good. Go ahead and buy it. I'm always like, are you sure? Like, are you sure I can do that? Like, like at what point do I owe you all this money? And they're like, no, man, you do this and then we give you draws and then you pay your guys and at the end we'll settle out. And you're like, are you sure? Yeah. Like, there's got to be harder than this. And it's just understanding of like, it's my own ignorance and not understanding it makes me scared of things. And that's where I've learned is like, the world isn't as scary as I make it in my head.
Yeah.
And if I can be okay with taking the risk and just figuring out as I go, I'll do a lot better.
And most of the stuff you're worrying about isn't going to happen.
No,
and
it's all.
Congrats to you for taking risks, though.
Thank you.
Because it's nice that you're doing multiple things.
Yeah, and the kids will come. Like we did all of the demo ourselves, so the kids get to like come and like knock the cabinets out and cut the carpet up. And like, man, that to me, I'm like in my head, I'm like, I hope this is one of their like core memories as a child, being like, I helped flip houses with my parents growing up, because like I did that with my parents. Like we worked a lot when I was younger, and I was like, I still remember all of that. Taught me my work ethic. And I'm like, I hope they get that from us too.
Yeah, and kind of showing them what's possible as well with the investment side and the real estate, but also making time for you all to go down to the Wichitas and you go spend time with your dad. And it's like, it's a nice balanced living to pass on. Like the business side is amazing, but just showing that you can like be an actual happy person as well along the journey is probably very, very impactful to them, and probably even more later when they're like 20s and 30s.
That's what I really hope, because I know now they're like mom and dad are taking a call. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I got to step away for a second. Then I'm going to give you my attention. I'll put my phone down so they know that they've got my full attention. But right now I got to take this call. And we talk very open. We've never talked to them like kids. We talk to them like little adults, because I want them to understand the world they live in. So I've always been like, hey, we do these hard things and we sacrifice some of the time here so we can go to Costa Rica, so we can go on these cool trips. So I've taken my kids scuba diving, and like none of the other kids at their school have ever done that, And I'm like, my kid's right on the back of a motorcycle with me. Like, I don't know many kids that are doing that type of stuff right now. And I'm like, the real estate game, that's why I'm so grateful to it, is because that's allowed us to show my kids cooler ways of living and different ways of living that most people wouldn't normally do.
Yeah, it gives you a little bit of space. As long as you're dedicated and disciplined, you end up getting space.
100%.
And then you can allocate when you want to use it, or, I just want to do this for 5 days, or I want to go to Arkansas with my dad.
Yes.
And like, you can cut everything off.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most beautiful part of what you're saying, is like just showing them a better way.
Yeah.
And not that anything else is like bad. It's just like, no, this is just cooler and
it's a
more
different
fun.
way of making a living. Because a lot of times, like I grew up very blue collar, and it was like these were your options, and that's one of the reasons I left Wyoming. I was like, I knew I was going to end up in the coal mines, working cattle, or the oil fields, and I was like, that was kind of, I knew if I stay here, this is kind of what I'm going to get, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to do all this crazy stuff. So I was like, what can I, I moved to Oklahoma of all places, but it was one of those of like, I came through when I was a kid and this felt like a big city that was still friendly, like a small town. Yeah. Like people still waved at each other. And I was like, that's what brought me down here originally. I love this place.
Yeah. I mean, it's the best for that. As I've traveled more, I'm like, man, I thought Oklahoma was like this big city, and it kind of is, as far as like, if you're looking for certain quality things like coffee or food or places or whatever, you can find it.
Yes.
But the niceness is just, I thought it was normal because I'm from here.
Yeah.
But it's just not normal at all.
No. And like every place has its nuance,
I'm not going everywhere and they're rude, but it's just not the same.
It's not the same. Like I've lived in Pittsburgh, like doing oil and gas stuff. I've lived in Pittsburgh. I've lived up in Massachusetts for a bit. Like everyone's nice in their own way, but like I like the nice here.
Yeah, I mean, even when I flew back the other day, we were getting on the escalator. These people are like moving to let us on, and I'm like, I'm just not used to that. Yeah. I've been on the road for 20 days, and it was just not rude, but just more get to where you're going.
Yes. And
I'm like, this is so funny. Like it's so instant.
The etiquette that is here, I think, is very small town, and I like that a lot.
Yeah. Circling back to Peter and them, when you joined them, how long ago was that?
I think 2 years, something like that.
And then has a lot changed since then with all the information you're getting?
Yeah. I mean, that's the industry as a whole is changing all the freaking time. So we're constantly having conversations about that type of stuff.
And it's so diverse at that brokerage. So you get a good, I don't know what you would call that, but like a room to bounce all those ideas off.
Yes.
It's like, well, what do you do? Instead of just being one traditional way, it's like, well, what are you doing now that's working?
Yes.
And then it's like, oh, I can try this and that. And
we talk about that even like how does the smaller agent compete against companies like Zillow? Like that's a hard thing. So like for us, our team, we're doubling down much more on the relationship side of it. And we're like, we're sending out holiday gifts for like right around next Saturday. We're actually delivering to like 100 of our clients a holiday gift and to their door, and it's face to face. And here, we just thought of you, happy holidays, those type of things. We're reaching out with vendor lists. I mean, trying to double down on the relationship side of this, because that's the one thing I don't think tech can ever replace.
Yeah, it can't.
Is just how much you care. It's very much, that's what, one thing I love about this business is it sometimes doesn't feel like work if you're just taking care of people that you care about. And I like other business owners. Like I know a lot of tattoo shop owners, little small retail, like my buddy Daniel owns Trade down the street.
Oh yeah.
It's funny because this was downstairs was his original location.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
But he's like one of my best friends. And so we talk shop a lot, and it's like helping promote their businesses, help if they need to find a new artist at the tattoo shop. Like, how can I help with that? And that's one of the things that I've looked at is like building bridges. And it's like, how can I help you in what you're doing? And not asking for anything in return in that. And I think that's the key to being a good entrepreneur is like solving problems and not expecting anything back, because that cross-pollinates. If you take care of a bunch of people, they're also going to take care of you. They're going to care about your success. Yep. Without having to be like,
you're okay.
Without having to be kind of like a shill about it. You know what I mean? Like I'm always going to ask every time I see, hi, I do real estate. Do you know anybody that wants to buy and sell? No one wants to hear that. That's not the guy they're going to use when they sell their house. It's going to be the guy that cared about their kids. How are they doing at Taekwondo? Like that's the relationship side. I think if we double down on that and we actually take care of people, they'll take care of us in the long run.
Yeah, and entrepreneurship wise, like that's the gold standard you should be shooting for. But then you learn along the way that like just doing that on a daily basis as a human, you don't know how much cross-pollination there is as well, because you'll help one person and then it circles back. Yeah. And you're like, it's just blown my mind through the entrepreneurship side, travel and meeting people you've never met, and then like your friend relationships, like how you meet people at all these various stages. And like when I was young, you would think like, dang, my parents just know someone for everything.
Yes.
And then you slowly build your sphere of doing that just by being a good person.
100%.
And then I don't know if you deal with this, but then sometimes when people are willing to do things for me, I like catches me off guard to where I'm like, do I deserve this?
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, obviously, because you do them right every time.
But I think that's almost like that imposter syndrome. You know, everybody talks about it. But like, if you feel that, that means you're self-aware and you're not like kind of up your own ass a little bit. And
right.
It's like, do I deserve it? And like, yeah, I do. I do deserve people to be nice to me.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah,
right.
It's okay. I'm nice to a lot of people. This is the universe, you know, into my debit column instead of my credit, you know, and like that, or vice versa. But it's literally just being nice to people. The universe, whatever you put into the universe, it'll give you back. I really, truly believe that.
I love to hear it with your business too, because it's the little things that stand out.
Yes.
And I remember like, I think it was one of my clients in Choctaw, and he had lived in the city forever. And then he found this place. It was a very tough transaction, but I just remember the first night he stayed in the house, he sent me a picture, and he was in a recliner style fold out chair on his back porch, and he had a beer, and he was like, thanks, man. And I just was like, that's so cool.
That's it.
Like everything else was amazing, but for him to get his family relocated and then in a moment of pure relaxation, he's like, man, thanks, Zach. And I was like, man, thank you. Yeah. And those are still people that you can go have a beer with, or they'll ask you for help when they end up needing something, or vice versa. That same guy, when we had that, I forgot till now. You remember when it was like 9 or 10 days of 0 degrees and everyone's power was going out?
Yep.
He called me when it happened and asked if my power was out, and I said, yeah. And he said, I have an extra generator. You can just come grab it. And I still have it. He was like, just keep it. It was like a pretty basic one, but enough to charge the phone and like a space heater. He was like, just come pick it up. And I was like, man, I would have never got that.
Right.
Because not just from business. Yeah. Like just from helping them buy and sell a house. That wouldn't have been the reason.
That's the relationship of like, they're good looking out for you because you're good. They know that you're looking out for them too. And that's cross-pollination.
Yeah, you never know.
And that's why I love this. Like I told our buyer's agent at McLean today, I told him that. And I said, we're in the people business. We just happen to sell houses. But it's like, if you remember that the relationship is first, and then you're helping them achieve their goals, like the money follows. You'll get taken care of. But like solve other people's problems, that's my favorite part of this business. It's just like, we've had, I mean, especially this year, it's a hard year in real estate. Like, I don't know if you've had a lot of deals bust. Like we've had so many more than any other time in our business. This year has been hard, mostly around TRRs. Yeah. But it's a hard time to be a realtor.
And that's the kind of the point we're bringing up those other things for, is that you have to be able to try other stuff. Like you should be able to be a full-time realtor, but also have some investment stuff going on the side.
Absolutely.
Because these buyers and sellers you're helping are investing in their future with selling these homes. You should be doing some of that as well. Yes. And it's not always taught. And sometimes it's looked at as like a bad thing, but any successful realtor I know, they do investing things as well. They have flips, they have rentals. That's the only way to grow.
It's another way, it's another service you can provide. Of like, there's a lot of people whose house isn't probably retail ready. And they're like, hey, I just need to get out of this. And you're like, okay. So it's like that. Like we'll tell them, our script is like, I'm going to take my realtor hat off. I'm put my investor hat on here. I would offer this on it, and we don't have to do anything with the market, anything like that. If the margins make sense, it makes sense. And they go, yeah, that's exactly what I need. That's as much as I need to get out of here and go on to this next chapter of my life. So I can provide that service for them. Then that house that hasn't had maintenance on it in 30 years, I can do a service in that of giving it a new lease on life, and a new family can have a new chapter in that new house. Most people nowadays don't want a project. They want to move into a turnkey house that they can move into and start their life. Back in the day, people wanted a fixer-upper because they could build that equity out. Now everyone wants move in. So if you're an investor, especially flipping, those are two things you can offer. It's like, one, helping people get rid of a problem, and two, putting a new house that's been remodeled back onto the market, especially if you do good work. Like, that's the key. I mean, you and I have been in enough houses that I've seen bad work. Yeah. I'm like, this was a bad flip. I wouldn't, if I wouldn't put my mom in it, I don't want to put my client in it. Do good work. And that's another service we're providing.
Yeah, but that's so important. Like, I'm glad you said that. I always think of the new family going in there. And then when you do get slack for it or something, it's like, would you rather this house just be beat up in this neighborhood forever until it's either torn down or something else happens? Like, literally a whole new family, like a mom, a dad, 3 kids are going to have like core memories in this because it's redone.
Yeah.
And doing the good work, you're not only helping neighborhoods and families and things, but like, it's just, there. It is simple as far as like upgrading the house and things like that. But there's just a lot of people that would not go into that house that's not market ready and spend time learning what really is challenging this person and helping them to the finish line.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're like, oh, I can't list it. I can't make any money on it. It's like, or you could just be smart and like see how you can help them.
Yes.
And I think that's the most important thing. When you brought up the families, I love that because it's really what it's about.
100%.
You make a living on it, and that's actually a better thing for someone else.
Yeah. And for the neighbors in the community, like all of it, it's all a benefit. It's all a win-win. Everything about real estate, like I've done deals, cross sales with other agents where it is a cutthroat. They want to figure out how they win, or their client needs to win. I'm like, it doesn't have to be one wins and one loses. The best deals are everyone compromises a little bit, everyone wins, but probably not as much as they thought they were going to.
And everyone's good with it.
But at the end, everyone's like, you know what? This is a good ending. Let's walk away from it. Like we just closed a house in Guthrie today that was built in 1897.
Wow.
So it was a project. I mean, we had some busted deals on it and all of that. It was a hard transaction, but we got it across the finish line, and it's one that I'm proud of because it was a hard deal.
Well, it's 130 years old right now.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
I mean, and we had every contract, they wanted their own inspection. So we had so many inspections. Every inspection was different. Every problem that came up was different. And it was like, it's problem solving constantly. You got to be able to pivot and go, okay, that's not that big of a deal. And that's kind of our script. That's not that big of a deal. Like, because it's not, nobody's dying. It's not brain surgery. It's real estate. So we can solve every problem is solvable. Whether it's on finance, construction, anything, we can figure out a way through this. That's why I like this game, is no problem is the same. If you enjoy like puzzles and problem solving, this is a good career.
Yeah, for sure.
That's all it is. You're just solving problems.
And it's nice to be that trusted individual for them so they're not panicking, but also just being a good person and just being like calm. Yeah. Most of the time you'll be able to find out how everyone can win. Yes. But as soon as it gets into that aggression or attitude or whatever, that's when things get difficult. But like I've had multiple times where the other agent is panicking because there's things that are going on, and I get it because I've been there. Yes. But I'm like, but what gets it done? And it's like, oh well, it's $800, and I'm like, we can take care of $800.
$800 is not that big of a deal.
Or it's like, oh, well, it's the AC unit. How much is it? Like, there's all these, I don't know, there's these little things you can do to make it work, and it's not that hard. It's just like, what is good enough for them and good enough for them, and just put the pieces together. But most time they go to the panic mode.
Panic mode, and that's the problem. That's a lot of agents that don't have enough I'm not going to say, I don't want to be like the old guy.
Well, it's not all experience.
It's not all experience.
It's just how they react.
It's how they react to it. But if you've been through enough crazy experiences, it kind of turns the volume down on them a little bit. And you go, okay, this is not that big of a deal. The house didn't burn down in the middle of escrow. So this is solvable. But it's another Peter and Tara thing. They said, always be the duck on water. You're calm on the surface, but your feet are underneath doing this. And I'm like, I always think of that. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to hustle. I'm going to make this work. But for my clients, for the other agent, for their clients, if we stay calm, how we react is very, very important. And it's the knowing that I'm capable of solving this problem without creating more problems because I'm panicking.
Yeah, and then your client feeding off your energy, and then they're panicking. It's like, yes, there's a lot of times I'm genuinely asking, like, well, what should we all do to make it work for everybody? And it's like, let's just have that conversation.
What do you need in this situation to make this work for you?
And then what do you need? Yeah. It's like, okay. What in between? Like it's so much easier with just the calm, because there have been times in my career where I wasn't, and they were just so difficult. Yes. And then there were a few times where the other agent was so terrible that I was like, man, now I even have to be harder on myself in a good way. Yes. Where I'm like, no, I'm going to be even more calm and collected, because that was stressing me out and messing my quality of life up. So I can only imagine what these people are going through. Yeah. Because we do it on a daily basis. Yes. So sometimes I have to remember to slow down.
That's a good point. We're in this game all the time. The average client is
like
not.
Twice ever.
Yeah. And it's like, you have to put yourself back into their shoes, the empathy side of it, of going, they put up with getting their house show ready, having like people in it, moving the dogs in and out, and they're still got to go pick their kids up from school, and they've still got to go to work. Then they're packing everything up, and then, oh, by the way, this might fall apart because there's a crack in the foundation and we have to have a pier put in. To them, that's a massive thing, and to the other agent, that might be a massive thing. To me, I'm like, that's one pier. That's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, we can figure that out.
We can figure that out. And we'll get you a lifetime warranty on it. Not a big deal. Mm-hmm. Do you want a credit? Do you want the pier? How do we solve this? And most people don't think that way, because that's what I'm saying. It's not so much how long you've been doing it. It's the experiences you've been through in it. Mm-hmm.
Which I agree, because I had one where I was helping a friend. We actually met in home creations when I was doing new construction. But then this dude is so funny. Like, it's funny because like he seems like he would only be stable.
Yeah.
But he's like, he does a lot of stuff. Yeah. Like we were working at Home Creations together. They bought a house, had a kid, but then they sold everything and redid a bus. But then they only lived in the bus for like less than a year. And then they wanted to buy a new house. But this time it was like a big house. Yeah. And I was helping them buy the big house. And there was a lot of random stuff that came up that was not correct.
Right.
Like, should not have happened. Like the seller, like being kind of shady. The seller being not as communicative with the listing agent. So the listing agent can't provide me a lot of ease either. But luckily, like I had trust with my clients. I know the inspector.
Yes.
And I'm very comfortable with just being real. So it's like, yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
That should not be like that.
No.
We're supposed to be closing tomorrow. So what makes you comfortable to close tomorrow?
Yeah.
And they're like, this.
Right.
And I give it to them and they're like, they said they'll just do it. And I'm like, see, if I would have just freaked out, then everyone's freaking out. It's like, no, that's not okay. But what gets it done? And I trust this guy and this guy and this guy. So I feel like here's all the info we got. And it's a game changer.
Especially you made a good point about having the inspector you trust. That is such an important, like the partners we have in the business are like, I know he knows what he's doing. I don't have to question that.
No, he's telling us everything that's going on.
Exactly.
Yeah, I use a few, but the one I use the most is probably Dustin Hudlow.
Yeah.
At Eagle Eye.
Yep.
And man, it's so easy to be able to, like I remember one time I was helping a client close on a house. So I had met him as an off-market lead and helped him list his home. And then he said, hey, I'm going to come back to you when I'm ready to buy. And he did. Like, we stayed in contact.
Yeah.
But then the house he was buying, I was going out of town. I was able to send Dustin over there. He handled it. We hopped on a 3-way call. As I'm driving to New Mexico, we talked for 30 minutes. Everything's good. And then it closed like 2 days later or something. Awesome. And you can't do that with people you don't trust, especially if you're like, even if you're using new people that are very trusted individuals, you don't know them well enough to where you're like, hey, is this a problem? And they're like, it's a problem on like this scale.
Yeah.
Like out of 10, it's a 4. And it's like, all right, client, what do you think of 4s?
Yes.
Like then you can start working.
How does that sit with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get it, man. It's I like how you put it. It's not necessarily the time, but the experience. Because I learned that when I started as well, especially with my broker, Brett Kreger. He was like, some people have been doing it 40 years, but they do 1 a year. So they're going to give you a lot of shit.
Or they still do it like they did in 86. And you're like, hey, the times have changed.
Yep.
What you're doing right now is not how we do business now.
No.
And we've had that. We've had some pushback from some older agents and from some newer agents too. And it's one of those of like, okay, my job is to stay calm and solve problems. It's the only thing I can control is me. So that's what I'm going to focus on. How do I control this? And I'm going to communicate the best I can. Going, here's the situation. Like you were saying, does this work for you and does this work for you?
It is funny though when you get someone that's just not working with your personality type because it does get difficult. Luckily, I've had way more great experiences than bad ones. Yep. And most of the time, which it's not like you're searching for it, but most of the time when I talk to an agent, if they've heard of me or like one of their people worked with me before, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But that came from like seeing the bad side.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I just don't want to operate that way. But it always goes back to how you're treating people.
100%.
And then everything else works.
I think it's also like the law of attraction. And it's like what you focus on is what you see a lot. So this last year, like we had a couple of rough transactions where it was not very fun with the cross sale. So I started being like, I'm going to look for the ones that were like pleasant, you know? And I had a couple, Cindy Wolf and Jim Miller.
Okay.
Both agents were like, I mean, it was smooth. We were working together.
That's the best.
It's the best. And at the end of it, like I just put like a Starbucks card in a card and wrote like, hey, it was like refreshing to work with a realtor that is all about good service. And it was like, it's not just good service for their client. It was also for my client. They were trying to be as the best agent they can be for the entire transaction. And like, that's refreshing.
Oh, it stands out so much.
Yes.
I just had one. Her name's Misty Adair, I believe. And
I've heard the name.
Yeah.
We haven't done a cross sale, I don't believe.
But she was representing the buyers on a listing, and man, I feel bad for my seller. He was like letting some people stay there because he had got a new place and he's in the process of selling it.
Yeah.
And they're just tearing this house up.
Oh, man.
And like, we ended up having to get a contractor in there to do like a bunch of work and all this stuff. But never, even when Misty was like flustered, she never was like not trying to progress.
Yes.
It wasn't like, what the hell is this? I'm done. She's like, hey, they just shattered a window and this, and this. And it's like, okay, but how do we get it done? And like those type of transactions are so refreshing because it's like, if we're bickering, what are we doing?
Yeah.
We're like the piece, like realtors are the piece that are holding 9 or 10 other people together.
Yes.
So we have to be on track.
Yes.
Because we're going to have to argue is probably a hard word, but we're going to have conversations with title and conversations with lenders and appraisers and inspectors. Like,
And
as long as we can talk,
if you had contractors come in and do work, they're out. I mean, especially if they're like pay at close.
Yep.
They're in the wind. And I'm like, we got to hold all this together. There's a lot of people that
those people were paid at closing. There was a lot of moving parts.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's crazy. And that's just for renters that
We're messing it up.
mess up, man.
Yeah. But the seller, like, he was one of those that like, man, I'm just going to put all my trust in you. Yeah. And I'm like, cool. And what's crazy about that, not trying to like toot my horn or anything, but like, just so you know, there were multiple people that went out to that house because it was more of an investor style up front.
Yeah.
But it was more of a listing.
Yeah.
It's just he was reaching out to companies.
Mm-hmm.
So he had met some people that I know that are realtors and investors. And he's like, they were cool, but one did this and one, I didn't like how he was saying this. And it's like, you were just straight up with me.
Yeah.
And you were calm.
Yeah.
Like he literally said, you were calm, so I felt calm.
I think that's the key, being calm and going, here are your options.
Yeah.
The way I see it, here are your options. And there may be other options I don't see.
And those other people may be a better fit for you.
Yeah.
But
100%.
if you like what's going on here, let's go from there. And I used to not always be like that because I was wanting to close everything.
Yes.
And now, even though there's times where you have to be that way, there's a lot of times I'm like, okay, they need 2 days. It's like, if it's meant to be, it'll be. And that's not always the best way because there are people that are like just blowing smoke and things like that.
Close it. Yeah.
There seems to be a good read on it once you do enough. But that was refreshing with him because I not only got the good feedback from him, but also that agent was great.
Yeah. And
then we're using a title company I use. And I'm like, all this part is easy. It's just like the little hurdles throughout.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, it's like the reason we should be all doing this.
Yeah.
It kind of gets, I don't know, misconstrued with some agents that are like too important or something, I guess. Yeah. But like the whole point is all of us working together.
Yes.
And it seems very simple. But maybe that's why we're always fond of each other is because that's kind of the energy we put out. 100%. And that's why like Peter's going to be on.
Yeah. He was telling me he was very excited.
He is? Yeah. Cool, man. Yeah. He took forever to message me back. He's like, man, I'm sorry. I didn't even see this. And I was like, it's okay.
He is a busy dude.
But we've spent some time together. And I spent some time with Tara as well. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But same to you, like you said earlier, we'd never really met, but we've been in this community. That's another thing about like the coolness of Oklahoma is it is collaborative. Mm-hmm. And it's really refreshing, even though we're talking about past experiences, to have this.
Yeah.
Where it's like, no, he's an entrepreneur, but we like similar things. He's a good person. He cares about his clients. Like, this is cool that this is a colleague. Yeah. Like you're like, oh wow.
The thing I was most excited about this was getting to know you.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it was like that. I sat and thought about it and I was like, I don't think we've actually met in person. Like we've communicated a lot, but never like sat down and just talked. And I was like, I get to know you. Yeah. And I'm like, that's exciting.
Yeah, no, I felt the same way. I think it's funny because social media makes you feel like you do know them to an extent. Like I was like, no, I kind of think I know him.
Yeah.
But then you sit by him or sit by her and you're like, no, but this is a good person.
Yeah.
And that's been the coolest thing, I think, of not only real estate, but the podcast and kind of merging them is you get another side of people that are professionals and you meet a lot of good people. Like I just had dropped an episode this week of Sam Bursch, and he's a lender that's been in it for over 20 years. He actually took me to lunch when I worked at Home Creations because he was one of their preferred lenders. Yeah. And we had like this great moment, and then getting to kind of reconnect with him after years of kind of setting my foundation. Yeah. Then finding out he threw newspapers and all this stuff. You're like, oh, this is just a regular guy. Yeah. Or this is a regular woman. That's been cool to learn along the journey as well, because like they teach you to view people like that everyone is like a human. Yeah. But especially with internet and things, you don't always get that view of them.
You get the polished view. It's what they want to present to the public. Yeah. And it's refreshing when you see that, and then you meet the person, and it's the same story.
Like, oh, great.
Like, oh, authenticity is here. Great.
That's how I felt with you. And then, like, I think the most recent, because I already knew Sam, it was Jeff at Triton. Jeff, we did. Yep. I was like, man, you seemed real cool. And then I met him, and I was like, man, thank you for just being you. Like, exactly. When we were done, he was like, man, thank you for that. Like, I didn't know I needed that. Like, that was awesome to be able to just be myself. And I'm like, that's cool. Because now, if I need something from you business-wise and we're having a conversation, I think when you have that foundation with someone, it's not always a podcast, obviously, but when you have that foundation, you like skip the trust conversation. Yeah. Like you can get past that. Yeah. Like I had never even met Cam Burke in person till I think 4 years ago. But we met because of a terrible transaction. Yeah. And then the next transaction didn't close either. Oh, really? So we only knew each other because we had two very terrible transactions. Yeah. But we were both always so calm and like progressive with each other, trying to move it forward, even though sometimes it wouldn't, or both times it didn't. Yeah. That when we finally met, I was like, I've never liked someone so much for like two of my most horrendous deals. Yeah. Like we even got an email about one of them like 4 or 5 months ago because it was still just like dragging. And I'm like, man, that goes to that character side. Yes. Because you would never think that that's like someone you build a relationship with. And just to toot his horn, that is one of the most impressive people I've met. Like, I want to be Cam Burke when I grow up. You know what I mean? Like Cam's cool, man. He's such a good dude. Yeah, he's cool. Like just genuinely to the bone, a good dude trying to do the right thing. And that's rare. That's like a unicorn, you know? But I think that's why the community here in Oklahoma is the way it is, because most of the people you would want to be around fit your frequency. Yes. Like there are some that don't, and you're like, but they really wouldn't be my cup of tea anyway. Yeah. But for the most part, whether it's someone that's 21 or 61, there is a range of great people. And I think that's honestly a blessing to the people in this state, because majority of the time, agents somehow know each other when they're working these deals. It's a small group, especially Em and I say high performers. Yes. There's a lot of people. I mean, what is it, like 8,000 people with their license right now? A very small percentage of that is actually selling. And a smaller percentage of that is selling at a higher level. So you're bound to keep running into the same people that are actually producing. Yeah. And it's like, get to know them as people like this. The other night we sat down with Ryan and Brooke Hukel for dinner. It was like 2 nights ago. We just had dinner, just as two couples. Not about business, nothing. Just how are your kids? How's life? That's important. Outside of business, like getting to know people, like that's really, really important. Yeah. I mean, that's what jump-started this is I spent 2 or 3 years of meeting people for coffee. Yeah. And at first I was doing it deliberately to like meet an agent, see if they've got deals and move forward. Yeah. Then I was like, dang, I learned something, at least one thing that's really cool and interesting about each person. Yep. And they learned something about me. And I was like, and I'm kind of addicted to that. And it's crazy what it can turn into, because doing those things is what made transactions with them in the future better. It's like, like I said, we can skip that getting to trust each other stage and we can just get to problem solving. Yep. And it's a big deal. I know a lot of people like don't go to the conferences or the luncheons and stuff like that. Like it's important to get to know the other people in your industry. So when we do have a hard cross sale, there is a mutual respect. And like, I care about you and your client and holding all of this together so we do a good job. There's so many people that
bypass all of that. And it's all about like, I got to close more stuff. And it's like, yeah, but there's a whole side to this that's, once again, it's about the people. Even the other people that are technically your competition, we're working together for the transaction to make it happen.
Yeah, at some point you work with most people.
Yes.
And like you said, it's that same circle of folks, because even when they were letting out that list of 500 or 1,000 agents that are high performers, like you look at it and you're like, okay, I know most of these people, or it's most people that I do deals with, whether it's off market or on market. You're like, thank goodness, thank goodness it's these people.
Yeah.
And then when you do have bad apples, it's usually because they don't do a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember Brett telling me that, like I said earlier, and I had this terrible transaction, and I'm not the look your stuff up type at all. But this one time, this guy was driving me so nuts that I was like, I have to know.
Yeah.
And it was like 4 transactions in 7 years or something. And I was like, and he's still doing me like this?
Yeah. And that's the difference. It's the attitude coming into it. Like you can tell a new agent when they come in, they write the offer and it's like, you're just like reading through it and you're like, that's not the way that should be done. And that's one of those of like, sometimes I will look up someone's production to see like, what type of transaction is this going to be like? And if it's a young agent that's learning, I will reach across the aisle and be like, hey, this is how we kind of do this. And I'm trying to go from an education standpoint and help them learn something new. It's not trying to be like, I'm going to take advantage of this younger agent.
No, because when I was learning, people were doing it for me.
Same thing.
Like,
exactly.
I was lucky enough to start a new construction, but even more when I got into the realtor and investing side, there were a lot of times they're like, hey, this paperwork's not right, or you need to send it this way. And I'm like, oh, well, cool. Yeah. Now I know for the future.
Yep.
Instead of just the amount of bad transactions I've had is so slim.
Yes.
That's why I can remember.
Right.
Like they're so little. You're like, there's 5 of them.
Yeah.
So it's wild, man.
Yeah.
It's cool and refreshing though, like I said, to sit down with you, because like the time with your dad and your family values, but also being a guy that's accomplished and done a lot yourself, and also managing this real estate universe that's crazy. It's like, it's nice to see people doing it the right way.
I'm trying. It's one of those of like getting into adulthood, realizing like how little I know, and be like, I'm going to figure out though. Like every day you just have grace enough for yourself to know that you're figuring it out. You don't have to know it all, and just be like, I'm going to make mistakes and that's all right. But yeah, it's every day is a new opportunity to learn something. And I've loved getting to do all of the stuff I've gotten to do because of real estate. And it's allowed me to grow the family I have, to have the experiences I have with my in-laws, my dad, my kids, all of it. Like I love all of that because it's the life we built based on real estate has allowed me to do that.
Yeah. You don't know up front that it's gonna, if you do it correctly, it's going to allow you to like learn yourself more.
Yes.
You don't know that.
No, because it's sales, and sales inherently is psychology. So you've got to learn yourself really deeply before you can really understand how to help other people. And if you're not self-aware, it's obvious to everybody but you. And it's like, I mean, I've been through therapy and all this, studied philosophy and Buddhism and all that stuff to try to understand myself to a better level. And that's the best thing I've ever done, is just try to figure out, why am I the way I am, and why are other people the way they are? And how can I, because something like you're saying, I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but like I put my vibe out, and if you like it, awesome. If you don't, that's okay. I'm all right.
Yeah, you can't change yourself. No. And like it's cool because everything we're talking about, we are like kind of blanketing it over real estate, but it's so influential in normal life as well. You can't not be yourself.
No.
Like, I think it's a game changer in business as well. Is like, the more you get to know yourself, the more fun business becomes as well, because you keep interacting with people you'd want to interact with. Yeah. You're not necessarily with clients that you don't care for whatever particular reason.
Yeah. Exactly. Every consult is a two-way interview, and most consumers don't understand that. There's some of them who are like, I'm not the realtor for this guy. We are not going to have a good time together. Because I've gone through an entire consult and they're like, well, I just don't like your tattoos. And I'm like, that's fine. And then you're probably not going to like my opinion when it comes to TRRs and all these things either. I'm not the realtor for you. And that's a two-way interview of me going, let me send you to someone that will probably be better for you. It's just self-awareness of going, I don't need that business that bad that I'm willing to be treated poorly.
Yeah, or have like crazy conversations of them just like always wanting so much.
Yes.
and not being rational.
Yes. And constantly needing to feel like I need to earn their trust, even though like I've proven that they can trust what I'm saying, and I'm working on for their best interest. That's the type of thing. Like I want my clients to feel comfortable. And if during the consult I can tell that they aren't comfortable with me, then that's probably not going to be a good working relationship.
Yeah. Like this may not be it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it's interesting how that works. Cause I think I only had one that I can remember where I really didn't want to do it, and I did it anyway, and it worked. But man, that guy was like just so difficult. But I think he was just like an old asshole. Yeah. I don't think it was personal.
No.
I think he was just like so hard. Yeah. Like not laughing when you try to joke with him because he's being so stiff or something. I'm like, bro, you're being so stiff, man. Like I remember the funny part of it is he was an out-of-state client referred to me from a lender that we use on the investing side out of Vegas. Mm-hmm. I had to pick him up from the airport, show him the homes, and then drop him back off.
Yeah, full service.
So I just expected him to be looser.
Yeah.
And when he wasn't, I was like kind of picking on him, even though he's a grown man. Like I'm like, hey man, loosen up, man. Like you're sitting here in this car with me, like
let's talk.
And he's like, oh well, I want coffee, and I took him somewhere nice, and he's like, this is like really fancy coffee. And I'm like, yeah, because if you're with me, you're only going to drink what I think I would want to drink.
Yeah, it's good coffee.
And I was like, but it's good for you. It's better than going to Starbucks. And it's like, after that, it did start turning a little better because it was like, he didn't expect to get politely checked either. I was like, yeah, I'm not taking you to a diner.
Yeah.
Like we're going to go to somewhere I like if I'm driving you around all day.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh.
And it's like that. Like we talk about how much we love the city, especially out-of-state clients. I love that because it's like I get to show off the place I'm proud of. And it's cool to see them be like, oh, I didn't know this was here. I'm like, I know, you thought we had like horses. You know, like I get it. It's supposed to be hay fields and nothing else. But like we have a lot here. Mm-hmm. Like I moved here in 2001 and just watching the food game change here.
That's been probably the biggest change.
Man, we have some good restaurants here.
Yeah.
Like really, really good food.
Yeah. When I travel and come back, I'm pleasantly surprised at the lineup we have.
Yep.
Man, I'm very happy that this is exactly what I thought. Like I knew you just from social media, but I'm really glad that we did sit down because this is good for me. Yeah. It was nice to. You never know what you're going to hear. This is the part of the podcast I love. I didn't know we'd have that much in common with like the connection with the dad and the connection with the wife.
Yeah.
I always say I'm so selfish for doing this, and people always show me love. Like even a realtor here before you came in, his name's Graham.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, I interviewed some new agents that I'm going to train on Copper Creek, and they said they heard your podcast and they enjoyed it. And I love that. Yeah. But then I'm like, man, the moments I get to have though, it's like, so luckily people love it and enjoy it. Yeah. But I'm very thankful that I get to have moments like this where it's like showing me I'm on the right path.
I agree. And it's like that. Like I was looking forward to this one, doing the podcast, but mainly just getting to have a conversation with you. Cause I'm like, I haven't gotten to do that yet. And I really like that. And it's the same way. Like I can tell we're on similar wavelengths and like go out for a cup of coffee, you know, like we can hang and it wouldn't be a real estate thing.
Yeah. We can do other stuff.
Yes, exactly.
And that's the best part.
Yes. And like, I'm cool with that.
Man, I know you've been learning about me, but just before I shut it off, was there any questions that you had for me at all? I know that's random, but I just want to check since you said.
So my biggest one.
Yeah. Okay. Damn, you're prepared. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me get one more drink.
I want to hear about Quanah Parker.
Okay. In what way?
Empire Summer Moon was just a phenomenal book front to back. Mm-hmm. So I saw a video the other day that came up on your social media and you were saying you are a relative.
Yep. Yes, sir.
So that to me is very, very exciting.
Yeah.
Because as far as like, I love Native history. I love Oklahoma history because this state I'm not from here, but I've learned a lot about Oklahoma because no other state has the history this state does.
No, and it's stuff I didn't even know because when you end up watching videos, you're like, whoa, because it's like Alaska to Florida and then
boom, in
this random place.
Yes, and like our kids are part of the Cherokee tribe. Emily's part of the Cherokee tribe. My whole family was never on the Dawes Roll, but it was one of those of like trying to understand Native culture and like the little bit that we have, I want to understand more of it. So I've read a lot on it, and like hearing you say that you're related to Quanah Parker, that book blew my mind. Mm-hmm. Just what a story.
Yeah,
like he lived in two different worlds and had to navigate this world and then a whole new world while leading people through it.
Yeah, it was like race, two different worlds,
Yes.
just from being mixed, and then like time, different worlds, because it was like from nomadic life to updated life.
Yes.
So it's like a few different pieces that were really interesting. But yeah, as far as the ancestry, we come from his first wife on the Comanche side, and he's my fourth great grandfather. So
Gotcha.
he would be my grandpa's great great grandpa.
Yeah.
So that usually helps people understand a little better, because 4 is a lot.
Yeah.
But like my grandpa's pretty dang close.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, we came from him on the Comanche side. We're Caddo as well.
Yeah.
I don't know a ton on that side as much, but we come from the Keys, and there's a lot of history on that side as well. But on the Quanah Parker side, it's like I was always told that I was a descendant and all that, but when I started to grow up more, it just seemed more important.
Yeah.
But my grandpa always helped me stay in tune with the knowledge and things, and it almost blows my mind. Like that Polidoro trip was only because Comanches would go through there.
Yes.
And I went to a coffee shop in Amarillo, and there was probably an 8-foot mural of Quanah Parker on there. And I know there's tons of descendants.
I know the coffee shop.
Yeah, Palace.
Yes, I've been there.
Yeah, Palace is great.
Yeah.
And it's one of the only you are going to go to in Amarillo anyway.
Yeah.
But I saw it, and like that's when it just, I don't know, it just like hit even harder, even though it's been amazing. As I was like, man, like he means so much to me, but he means so much to so many people.
Yeah.
But just on the general history scale, like to know his story and
his mom's story too.
His mom's story.
Crazy.
And to go to the family reunions and go to the events at Fort Sill when there's his grave, his mom's grave, and the daughter's grave. It's crazy because like I don't know much from my mom's side, but on my dad's side, to know exactly who we come from is so interesting.
Yeah.
I think that's why the Wichita Mountains are so special to me. Quanah was supposedly born out there.
Yeah.
But
his house at one point was located out there for a while, and then got moved. I think now it's moved to a private property.
Yeah, it's moved to an amusement style park in Cache, and then you have to ask the guy to show you it, and it's like falling apart.
Yeah.
There's pictures of me in it when it was at another location.
That's
my
awesome.
grandparents took me in there, and like I slept on the bed.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. 2 or 3 years ago, they had a celebration at his gravesite at Fort Sill. And then afterwards, the descendants were going to the old location, which is on an artillery area of Fort Sill. Went out there, and my grandpa had given us a photo, an aerial drone shot of where it was originally.
Yeah.
And he's like, use this to find the porch. And you see these 2 V's of concrete. They're sidewalks, and then they meet at the front porch. And you know, just looking and looking, you find these little cracks, and we were able to find like that point. So me and my dad took a picture, and then my wife and my dad, and then me and my wife took a picture at, like standing at that spot. Collected some sage and cedar from there.
Yes.
I collected some of the sidewalk just because I was like, bro, I want that. Like, I want a piece. My grandpa's really old school, and like he normally probably wouldn't want something like that given to him. But when I got back from there, I was like, hey, I gave Dad and you and me a piece of the sidewalk with a sage bundle from there. Yeah. And it's still sitting in his house. He passed a year ago, and now when I go over there to see my grandma, I'm like, it's still sitting there.
Still sitting there.
And it was funny because, like I said, he's not the type that would like want something like that. Yeah. Like, it may be meant to stay there or that. But it was like the instant approval I got when I gave it to him was so cool. Yeah. Like him in his 80s, and he was like, that's cool.
Something he wouldn't do for himself. But
he wouldn't do that.
You did it for him was special to him.
Yeah, he's like, that's man, cool. I like that. But
that's cool.
The history of being related to someone like that is awesome. Like that's the only reason I recently got into horses is because I didn't want to be a Comanche that didn't know how to ride. 100%. So I got into riding a little bit. I always make that analogy as well, that the motorcycle feels like it. It's just a lot of history. Were you raised kind of in a traditional way, or more or less so like you're getting into it as an adult? So I've been getting more into things as an adult. My wife helped a lot with getting me more in tune with it, but I did do things with my grandpa growing up. Like I would go to powwows and dinners and things, but I didn't grow up around a bunch of natives because I grew up in more.
Right.
So I didn't grow up like in a native community.
We didn't grow up like that at all. So like Emily and I adopted our kids from the Cherokee tribe in the middle of the pandemic. So it was one of those where it was like, it's very important to us to start to keep them tied to that part of their ancestry too. So it's like, I didn't know about any of this stuff. So it's like trying to educate myself as an adult about it is really cool. And it's like getting to see the tradition of it, and like, it's moving to watch like the dances and the drum circles and all of that. And like, I'm just like, I love this so much. And there's so much history, and it's not a clean history.
Yeah.
The story is very wild if you really, really like dig way down into it. And like, I respect it a lot. And that's where I'm just curious. Like I saw the episode with your dad where you're talking about getting it like the traditional dances and stuff like that. And like, is that something you're looking to get into it as an adult?
I think, yeah. So I feel like it'll probably be something that needs to happen. Yeah. Because I should experience that, even if it's not something I do at like a lot.
Right.
But since you listen to that, my cousin, he's 43. He dances. And when I was playing pool with him, you heard in the episode, and I was like, so how do you do it? And he's like, yeah, 3 years ago, I just asked my uncle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, yeah. Like there's no rules. Like, I mean, there are rules of like an elder brought him in and all those things, but I'm 100%. Saying you don't have to do it your whole life.
Right.
And I always thought I missed out because I didn't do a lot as a kid.
That's I understand
so
that completely.
That's a cool part that was refreshing.
Yes.
That this, like, I feel like I look native, but this guy like looks native. Like he looks native as fuck. And when I saw him and he told me that, I was like, that's cool.
My great grandpa, it was one of those, like when he was in the nursing home, they put a headdress on him, and I was like, that's kind of racist. But I was like, you could tell, like visibly, and like my mom a little bit, but me and my sisters, it's kind of diluted down. I'm like, I don't feel I present native in any way. I definitely wasn't raised in the traditions of it at all. So I'm trying to understand it now as an adult, and it's such a cool thing. And that's one of the things when my mom was alive, we would go to Tahlequah a lot when she would come visit, and we would go like buy books and we would read about it, and like she loved all that stuff. So
I would say as far as powwows, I mean, during the summer it's almost every weekend, but you can always find something to go to. So I would encourage just to feel it a couple times, because that's going to be like some of the best tradition you'll see. There's also a place called the Sia Bird Sanctuary. And you can look them up and give them a call. His name's Bill and Troy. And you can tell them about me and like why you're interested. It's a bird sanctuary for eagles and things like that. It's not Comanche funded, but they're Comanche. And it's like a very strong medicine place you should go to if you're trying to experience it. You already know about the Wichitas, but maybe spend some time on that Quanah Parker Lake area. Especially for a sunrise is pretty cool. You just got to get down there early.
I fished that one day when the sun was rising. That's beautiful.
It's pretty crazy, especially over Mount Scott because it rises on that side. But there's also a cultural center, Culture Hub, I think it's called. And they're here in the city. And they're doing a lot of stuff for natives. They're like holding ceremonies and all of that. And then, of course, the First Americans Museum.
That's phenomenal.
But
I loved it.
There's a lot more going on than like I would know. And it's been cool to find out about. But as far as the traditions and things, I think something to know is that, and this is just speaking from my perspective, is like you don't have to be a certain percentage of something to enjoy it or to like experience it. And so something I've been big on is passing, like making sure I bless people with sage or like play the flute around them or feel that I'm pushing something as well. And that's been probably the coolest thing is just like not caring like what percentage. So that's been cool for me as far as the
I had a friend explain that to me back in the day. She was like, don't worry about that. That's a government thing. And I was like, that was the first time I'd heard that. And I was like, oh, I get that.
Because I'm sure there was multiple shades back in the day too.
100%. That's what she was kind of like, don't worry about that. She's like, if you love it, get to know about it. I was like, okay. One of the things, the coolest thing that I've seen Took my mom to it, and it was bareback relay racing up in Wyoming. It was 5 tribes all the way from Canada. The Sioux came in, and it was like relay teams. And it went from little kids doing it all the way up to full-grown adults. And it was one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's wild.
But apparently they do one down here somewhere by Pawhuska.
Okay.
So I was like, if I hear about it, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Especially
that'd be
the
nice
side of it.
Yeah, that'd be nice to check it out.
It'd be fun.
I would love to connect.
Yeah.
Next time we plan on being around each other, I'll make sure I have some sage so we can do that. But yeah, I think something my wife and I do is we buy a lot of books.
Yeah.
And I've just been trying to get more engaged. It's never going to be, you can't go back. So it's just all forward. And that's been the cool part. Like, I'm just experiencing stuff as an adult instead of just as a kid.
Yeah.
Luckily, I had it around me enough that I'm familiar, but I didn't grow up like being around a lot of Native people. So it's been nice to grow and be around it as an adult. And I feel like when you are around people, elders and things like that, they can sense that type of interest.
Yeah.
And like genuine care.
Genuine curiosity about it. Yeah. That's cool.
Man,
like
thank
that.
you for
Of course.
asking me. I
Appreciate it.
I could go on forever about stuff like that, but
Yeah.
I think we'll spend some time together and we can talk more about like some other stuff
Yeah.
too. And then I'd love to, bless you, play the flute, all that, ride a bike,
I would love
everything.
it. Maybe we ride bikes down in Wichita.
Yeah. Man, thank you. It was
Thank
so
you.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Yes, sir. We'll get out of here.